Sorry, I just had to include that because it's like really pretty. So where do I start? Glow ups. As you can see, I'm pretty sexy now, not to toot my own horn, but let me insert some pictures of what I used to look like. Excuse my laundry. So growing up, I was kind of like an ugly duckling, I guess you could say. I mean, I was pretty. When I was little. I was just contradicting myself. When I was little, a lot of people would be like, oh, you could be a model, and they'd say things like that. And then by the time I got to the age of 12, my bestie puberty decided to come along and, you know, shake things up, because why not? Oh, is that eye juice? That's great. We like that. Okay, carry on. So, yeah, the whole like sweating all the time, smelling all the time, my features just looking completely berserk. I mean, no one told me about that. Like, puberty was always this, you get spots and you get your hips, you know, growing wider and your boobs grow and you start this thing called your period. I didn't even know there was a third hole, you guys. The sex ed system, well, I mean, we all know it failed us, but come on. I didn't know there was a third hole. Anyway, so yeah, my nose, I'm sure I'm not the only one who has the story. My nose was not my best friend. My nose was just not, it was not it. So at the age of 13, I started to, actually 12 even, I really started to dislike my body. And it was, you know, before that I really hadn't thought about it. And I think it's normal for teens to become self-conscious when they're, you know, going through puberty or just that age. Like, that's when you start living more in your head as opposed to in the present. And I had a fallout with one of my friends, my best friend at the time, and I found myself on Instagram crazy comparing myself to her, and I would like look in the mirror, and it's not like we were physically very different, it's just that I had a severe case of comparisonitis at that point because we'd had a fallout. And I remember, like, I wouldn't even look in the mirror because I was afraid of the thoughts I was having. I didn't like myself, and so I stopped myself from looking in the mirror. I banned myself. Can you believe that? But you know what? I think that was actually a really good thing. And I actually deleted my Instagram account at the same time. Anyway, it was really weird because I grew up in a mostly white area, and a lot of the girls around me, I didn't look like them. Like, they all had these abs, like these baby abs, and I think by the time I was like 15, that's when I really got into Victoria's Secret. And well, I would compare myself to Victoria's Secret models, specifically the angels. Candice Vonable and Adriana Lima were my icons, and I wanted nothing more than to look like them. And that's kind of when I started messing with my diet. So I'd gotten into, let's change. I'm gonna show you my room. It's very sexy. This is my new student accommodation. I've been decorating, staying up till 4 a.m, sticking up these leaves. Maybe we'll turn them on in a little bit. We can turn them on. So I'd started working out when I was like 12 with my mom, just for fun. Jillian Michaels. Sorry about the background noise, it's very loud here. And it was just like a fun little thing. And then by the time I was 13, I was like, nope, I want abs. And so Blog Pilates became my go-to. And Blog Pilates was great. I kid you not. Now, even still, like, I'm so obsessed with her reels, her TikToks. I'm so proud of her. It's so amazing to see her growth. But yeah, Blog Pilates was my go-to. And I was set on getting abs. But of course, I was completely misinformed, thought that the majority was in the workout, or the power came from the workout, when in reality, of course, your diet also makes a difference, as do genetics. And going through puberty, I mean, your body is going through it, it's changing. And I didn't realize that. I thought that what my body looked like during puberty was how it would always look, and that's something that I wish someone had told me was entirely wrong. I mean, if I thought of anything, I thought maybe I'd just get fatter, but I didn't think that I could actually have a body that I liked, ever. And I think that's the case for a lot of us, because growing up we give into what society tells us is beautiful, and it messes with us. And I was lucky enough to not see my mom yo-yo diet too much growing up, though I know that she did do some of that. It didn't impact me too much, and I'm very grateful for that. I think I just had my own stuff going on. So anyway, the nose story carried on. It was just too big for my face. Like, I remember, I mean, I say that societally it was too big. I mean, I guess if you were to look at the proportions, maybe it was too big. Fair enough. It was big. But like, that's not a bad thing, you know? And I remember when I had like a whole monobrow situation, and I think I was like 13, and one of my friends, I mean, whatever, like, she probably didn't realize like what she was saying, but I remember her we were having a conversation with a group, like there was a group of people, and all of a sudden she just looks at me and she's like, oh my god, I just realized you have a unibrow. And everyone looked at me, and I was, I laughed it off or whatever, but I was like, ugh, because I'd always grown up feeling too hairy and too this and too, like, I just didn't fit in physically. Like I said, I grew up in a predominantly white area, so all the girls were practically hairless. Not all of them. I do have to say, there was one girl, especially when we were like 17, she was very open about the fact that she was white with very dark body hair, and I really appreciated that because it normalized it. One YouTuber who also is very much open about her body hair is Alana Abuchi, and again, really appreciate that, that openness and that honesty. Anyway, getting back on track. Where were we? So my nose. I think it was also around the same time when I was like 13, 14 that my nose was a big concern for me. And by the time I was 15, I was watching, I think, Beverly Hills Plastic Surgery or something like that on Netflix. And I was convinced that I was going to be a plastic surgeon. Not only that I was going to get a rhinoplasty the moment I could afford to. So what did I do? I reached out to Dr. Diamond, I believe, of Los Angeles, alongside another doctor. I don't remember his name. He's Indian. He wasn't on the TV show, but he was also, I think, in LA. And I asked them for their prices at the age of 15, where I was making less than minimum wage. That's how committed I was. I did not feel like my face fit me. I didn't feel like I fit my face. And not only was I comparing myself to VS models and, I don't know, this ideal version of me, I was comparing myself to my peers, which was ridiculous because we were all of different ethnic backgrounds. And that aside, we all have different genetics. Entirely different. Let's get the lights on. I actually put the batteries in the corner, and I have the wire wrapped around them a little bit, but I'm thinking I should have put rechargeable because this is going to get really expensive really fast if I don't get rechargeable batteries. But anyway, let's put them on. Okay, they're kind of fading a bit. I might put my blind down. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, once I realized that getting a rhinoplasty on its own would cost me like $20,000, that's not even without the consultation. Guys, I don't even think they knew how old I was. They were treating me, so when do you want your consultation? And I was like, not me with my pool helper job. Like, this is not happening. So I realized I couldn't afford it, but I knew that one day I will get a rhinoplasty. So in the meantime, I contoured. I learned how to contour my nose. I learned how to contour my whole damn face. I got into working out. There were periods where, honestly, I don't know if anyone else got this during puberty, where like you eat everything for like weeks, even months, and then you kind of lose your appetite. And you're like, nah, don't like food, nah. And then you go back to eating. Like, I don't know. I think it was a hormonal thing because I don't have that anymore, where I'd just be like binging and eating, like constantly hungry. And I think it was to do with growth spurts. I think. Anyway, when I got the opposite of that, and I would be the not so hungry version of me, I would kind of latch onto that, and I believed it to be a positive thing. And so I would then go weeks without actually eating properly and somewhat starving myself. There was an instance where I went vegan for a week. This is not to demonize veganism, by the way. This is to demonize the mindset and the diet that I had. So it was a challenge for my family. We were like, who can go vegan the longest? And and we were like doing all of this stuff, and all of my family members failed because, you know, they're pathetic when it comes to this stuff. But I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. Should we keep the light? Should we keep the light? We can sit at the desk for a bit and then we can make it cozy again. Let's do that. So there I was, being vegan. However, when I went vegan, I didn't research anything. All I knew is that I shouldn't eat animal products. So what did I do? I cut out all of the animal products from my diet. But what that left me with was, well, what's the word? Damn it, when I was trying to be dramatic. I was depleted. I didn't substitute my calories. And at the same time, I was training for a 1500 for sports day. So by the time day 5 came around, I gorged on a huge spaghetti carbonara with a whole packet of hobnobs and Lindt chocolates. I still remember to this day. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, and I felt so guilty. And at the time, I didn't know what that was. But looking back, I mean, within a year, I realized, like, it's because I'd basically been starving myself, depriving myself. My body was so, like, hungry that, of course, I did that. Anyway, going slightly off topic, but as you can see, you know, and a big reason that I was crying was also, like, I was getting skinnier and, you know, and I felt like I just ruined it. Anyway, the comparisonitis continued as it does, and 17, 18, still comparing myself to those Victoria's Secret models. I wouldn't say yo-yo dieting, that was never my vibe, but yo-yo working out. Here I was looking at all these women with muscles and everything, and I knew at age 17 that lifting weights was the way to go. But for some reason, I never took the initiative to go to a gym. I always thought I could do it on my own at home with Pilates. You know, which I don't think that's entirely wrong, but for me, that wasn't working. So I just go through these really intense phases of trying to make my body look a certain type of way with just working out, no diet changes. And well, I mean, you could see it in my figure. Like, there would be a couple of months where I would be more flat. You know, I'd have a little bit more tonnage. But then I just go back to being really puffy and big again. At the same time, my features, well, I was 17, 18. They tell you that puberty ends at 18 for girls. So I was like, oh, okay. I also heard somewhere that the amount of fat cells you have or something, it's kind of set in stone once you hit 18. And so I was like, oh God, I gotta get my body fat down. Oh, otherwise I'm screwed. Oh. I don't know if that's true, but whatever. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? So yeah. That was that. Maybe we should get some more light. Should we get some more light? We can get some more light in here. I don't want to put the main one on. It's kind of ugly. I tried to get it changed. It's an LED one. It doesn't fit my vibe. How's that? It's a little more sexy. We can handle her. Oh, okay. Can we handle her? We can handle her. Just for a little bit. So, where was I? So I was pretty convinced by the time 17, 18 came around that I was gonna look like what I look like, and that terrified me. I didn't want to look like that. But I also didn't know what to do about it. And I just didn't like myself, and mentally I was just going through it. The nose, I'd basically given up. But I will say this. My relationship with my nose had definitely changed by then. Like, I suddenly realized, like, it was just an it wasn't a I'm not getting plastic surgery ever. It was just you'll see why maybe in the pictures. Compared to when I was 12 versus 17. Proportionally you can see, okay, it fits a little bit. You're probably thinking, Mahika, I mean, you might not be thinking this, whatever. Your face is like even more different now. I know, right? And this is what I need to talk about. So I had my first personal training experience when I was like 19. It was actually with Attitude Fitness, Kyle. Shout out to him. Great guy, so supportive. Like, even though I didn't make the most of my experience getting PT, he was the best, like, first PT experience I could ask for. So encouraging, kind, really took the time to understand. Anyway, he hasn't paid me to say any of this, I just have to say. But yeah, I found him through Bubs Beauty, Bubs Vlogs, if you know. She is my, one of my is it homies? Like, she got me into watching YouTube when I was like 12, 13. Anyway, so I signed up for this PT thing, right? And I sent him these pictures, this VS model, that VS model, thinking, okay, this is what I'm gonna look like. He then goes to tell me, he's like, you know, this can also be influenced by your height, because when you're taller, your muscles are spread out over more area, so to get that sort of look. So he was being nice about it, but I was so offended. I didn't say it, obviously. I was just like, you're saying I can't look like this? Anyway, had my whole PT experience. I started to see muscle that I hadn't seen before, and that's because I was using weights and because I had someone helping me with my diet. Albeit my diet wasn't perfect because, again, I messed up, but I started to see change. Anyway, I had somewhat forgotten about the nose job thing at this point, but the body image thing, like, I just never felt satisfied. Lockdown happened. I ate a lot. I mean, you guys, I think that was one of my heaviest times. Yeah, like, I was eating and sleeping a lot. Like, in a way, it was so great and indulgent, but like, what was I thinking? Like, come on, you had all that time, and what did you do? Anyway, whatever, it happened. So ate a lot, and then I didn't see it. I did not see how much weight I gained. And you know what, maybe that's a good thing. Time passed. God, this is like 2020. I did a couple of like workout things in between where I was like, yeah, I'm like really into this body transformation, you know, I've been going on for like 7 years. And then last year, I'm just gonna insert some pictures, by the way, just for that time, so you can see what I look like, what my face was like. By the way, lack of sleep really influences your face. Your eyes get puffy, your skin looks dry. Keep that in mind. Last year, 2021, was a life-changing year for me. I don't know if there's something to do with Saturn, because you know Saturn's always having fun with us. So, I had some life stuff happen, right? And then I was like, you know what? I need to change. I need a hobby. I need to do something. And I was just compelled to sign up to the gym. I'm really hungry. I have to eat. I'm gonna eat. Yeah, this thing, and then I'm eating. So I was like, I want to get PT. I'm gonna get PT. Well, PT was really expensive, and they were taking forever to get back to me because it was a new gym. So I ended up going to the classes with my mom. Little did I know I would fall in love with the classes. Like, absolutely fall in love with them. Now, keep in mind, before this, I'd gained a lot of weight again because I was just not doing well in life. I just wasn't, you know, and that's why it's really, like, it pisses me off when people body shame one another, because, like, you have no idea what someone is going through and, like, what their demons are, and sometimes they're just trying to survive. So whether that means they're eating, like, a packet of cookies or not, you know, that doesn't matter at that point. When you're just trying to survive or get through, like, you're fighting other things, who are you to body shame them, you know? So anyway, I was kind of bigger at this time, and I was like, going to the gym wasn't so much to lose weight, it was just I needed a healthy change. I needed health in my life, I needed happiness, I needed a hobby. So anyway, I fell in love with it. I absolutely fell in love with the classes, the vibe, the energy of working out with people. I forgot about my body goals. It was the first time, you guys, in 7 years that I hadn't been so fixated on my appearance. And, you know, I mean, I guess if there's anything I could say, given all that, is find joy in the process. Sorry if you can hear my stomach grumbling, I need to eat. Find joy. Like, exercise isn't just to lose weight. And I think, I mean, more people know that nowadays for sure. But I also think that there's a lot of people that don't know that. They get into working out because they want to look a certain type of way. Fair enough, but I think it's equally as important to do things and exercise as well that bring you joy. Whether that's dancing, swimming, yoga, even like HIIT, like whatever you like. And so anyway, I for the first time was not thinking I have to look like this, I have to be like this, I have to. It was so interesting. And in the classes, I was working out with such a mix of people. It was brilliant. I had been working out by myself for so long in my room, and all of a sudden I was in this class with all these older ladies, and like, I mean, ladies that were maybe like 10 years older than me, but I was one of the youngest. And like, there were some men there as well, and then there were people of different backgrounds and different abilities. There's one woman that goes to that gym, and she has not only had a hip replacement but a knee replacement as well. You know, when you hear people's stories, like, it was just remarkable. And I saw all these women around me with different body shapes and history, like stretch marks and cellulite and bodies that don't fit what society deems as being beautiful. And all of a sudden I was just reminded that there is so much joy to just be found in movement. You know, that's such a blessing to just be able to move. And I just fell in love with the whole thing, that like I said, I completely forgot about my body having to look a certain way. When I was in the class, social media wasn't in my brain. When I was, you know, working out, I wasn't thinking about my ideal body. I was just thinking, oh my God, I'm so strong, you know? And anyway, fell in love with it, was enjoying the journey. About 6 months later, I mean, I saw some changes, and don't get me wrong, I was super psyched about them. I have got tons of clips where I'm flexing, having the time of my life, but it wasn't until like April, like 6 months in, where I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And guys, I had like abs going through me after like 7 years, and I was psyched. But the thing is, at this point, I mean, it was dope and I had a lot more confidence, but because I knew I'd worked for it. But that's the thing, it was like, it was the cherry on top at that point, because I'd fallen in love with the process. I'd fallen in love with being happy. I'd fallen in love with the feeling of strength and just finding joy in connecting with people and growing with people. That at that point, the physical side of things was just a bonus. Anyway, again, I don't know what this video is about anymore, sorry, but look at September me. I'm going to show you a picture of December me. I'm going to show you maybe Feb, April. Now, we're good. Now, in the last, I want to say, should we get some mood lighting in here? I can put the blinds down, be sexy. So, in the last, like, few months, it's been a bit crazy because I've been abroad, I've fallen sick a few times, I've had exams, I've moved, like, there's just been a lot. So my body isn't what it was in April. But the muscle has somewhat maintained because, you know, I did take the time to, like, build it. So it's still there to some extent. My physique is still not what it was after I gained a lot of weight last summer. But April was definitely my peak. But anyway, what I want to say is my face and my body has changed so much in this past year. And that's from working out for sure. But I think it's also from being happy or happier. And I think it really shows. So people always think like, or people think that puberty ends at like 18. It doesn't necessarily. You know, your life story shows on your face. I spent so much time fixated on trying to make my body look a certain way that I sucked all the joy out of the journey. And I think that if you just give yourself time, I think if we can like get anything from this half-an-hour video, give yourself time. Let yourself flourish. Let yourself bloom. Look at like people like Kylie Jenner or Bella Hadid says she had a rhinoplasty for like a medical thing. But like people that have had surgery in their teens, like they didn't even give themselves the chance to flourish and to bloom. I mean, look, like, seriously, I know the title is Puberty Hit Me Like a Truck. It's the bait, okay? Cut me some slack. But, like, I don't look the same as I did a year ago. Maybe 1 year from now I'll look very different. You never know. But I think that this sort of culture nowadays of a glow up happens instantly, and the fact that this is fed out to tweens is heartbreaking, and plastic surgery is more accessible now and it's glamorized, and you know, people aren't honest about it, and I think that is so damaging. Like, I grew up in the time where social media was still new. There are kids now being, you know, the algorithm is probably 10 times as worse now. There are young children being fed content, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, subliminal messaging. They are being influenced, and it is heartbreaking to me to know that they could be influenced for the worse. I know my story, and I've shared some of it here with you today. So that's all I can really talk about accurately. I guess if I could go back, I mean, it's that thing of like, no regrets, whatever. Like, I guess I could say I have the pleasure and the luxury of saying no regrets. You know what, I like more light. I have the luxury of saying that because I haven't done something to my face or my body that I regret, you know? I'm not gonna say I've always treated it with respect, because I certainly haven't, even to this day. I eat way too much sugar. We gotta do something about that. I literally had a whole tub of Ben & Jerry's hot bake yesterday. I mean, I'm PMSing, but okay, Jesus forgives. Yes, he does. Sorry, this is future Mahika coming in. It's been quite a few months. I hope this video was helpful to you. My main point is basically just that if you're a young person, give yourself time. As you might be able to see, I have gained some weight since the filming of this video. I've had a lot going on, and I haven't stuck to healthy habits. However, I think we can all agree that compared to my teenage self, I still am perhaps more glowed up. And so I still stand by my point. Give yourself time. Give yourself time to grow up, to let your hormones settle, for yourself to mature and see yourself as beautiful too. And that's something that I will, well, I've actually already made a second video to this video, a part 2, and I'll go into that a little bit more in that video. But I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope that you're doing well. Just don't make any rash decisions. You're beautiful, and I want you to give yourself the chance to see yourself that way. It's really sad when people don't see themselves the way that a lot of other people do. I was just talking to one of my friends today, and there's this friend that she has who really struggles with body dysmorphia, and I saw her Instagram, and it's just one of those Instagrams where you would think that this person has got everything going for them. How could they struggle with body dysmorphia? But the truth is, anybody can, and maybe even I do to an extent. I don't know. I don't think I'm a fair judge of that, but just give yourself a fair shot. You're probably a lot better looking than you think. So yeah, that's it. See you guys in the next video.